Good morning, Supercross fans. Welcome to round 7 of the Monster Energy Supercross, and you guys are watching the virtual track walk presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires. Brock Glover, how are you doing?
Very good. I mean, how can you complain when you have about a 70-degree variance between the last time we were doing this and then today in Orlando?
I know. I'm glad that we're in Florida, but unfortunately, as we can see, the track is covered this morning. We are in a revised schedule. We have a rain delay, but everything's going to, kick off accordingly. We have race day live starting at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time on Peacock, and then our racing still has a gate drop at 7:30 on NBC Sports, and you can stream it on Peacock if you have that Peacock app. But we're coming into this first corner, and like these guys are going to be doing, and there are only 2 qualifying practices today. No free practice, no sight laps, just straight into qualifying. So it's going to be a little bit of rush as a rider, but they're going to be definitely breaking down this track in a 2007 replica track from that iconic moment back in history where James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael battled it out on this exact track.
Yeah, I remember that race well. It was fantastic then. And you talk about the start there coming into that left-hander. It's about 2/3 of the length of the stadium, comes in at an angle. It doesn't just head down the middle of the gut of the stadium there. It comes in at a little bit of an angle. So people are already pre-turning. Hopefully we'll have a nice clean first corner there. And as you can see, we're in an open stadium here, so Mother Nature could play a big part in this. As you see that the track, we have rain in the forecast, and we have the track covered, which the Dirtworks crew doing a great job trying to keep the dirt as good as possible considering the weather forecast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And talking about the weather a little bit more, we are expected rain from now what's around 9:46 all the way until 1:32, right when practice starts. So hopefully we can skip that rain and have a clean practice and have a good racetrack for these championships to battle out. This is our final round for 250 East Coast before we go West Coast. So we have a really important battle with Christian Craig and Colt Nichols going town tonight, seeing if anybody can further their lead or tighten up that championship gap. And we have the 3-peat offender, Ken Roxon. Hopefully he can go 4 in a row, first time in his career tonight. And, we have a really technical track. We can't really see it right here, but this dirt is absolutely hard packed. It is the original dirt from Orlando 2007. And let me tell you, this dirt is going to be sticky and it's going to be hard packed with the rain that we're going to have today. Let's talk about a little bit of tire selection, what these riders are going to expect, throughout the night.
Well, I can tell you that every team here is looking at their satellite feed, looking at the weather, trying to, become a weather forecaster and a weather person right here. And, they're, I guess, right now set up to run your traditional Navi tires based off of what we know's underneath those tarps. And a shout out to our man Shane for trying to do the best he could in the situations of videotaping the track here. But we can go to the virtual track maps and also get an idea what the track layout is if you can't tell here. But that said, every team is preparing for the worst, no question. They have paddle tires set up, or what we call scoop tires, for those soft extreme conditions in the mud. The MX-12 at our Dunlop choice. And these guys are, if the skies open up, there might be some people busting out those paddle tires and go looking for the drive, and why not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. These teams have multiple wheel sets. They have multiple options. They are, prepared for the worst and hoping for the best. And, right now the track looks pretty good, but I know it's raining as of right now. So the straightaway is going to be a little bit muddy, but talking about the plastic is there to do most of the job, but unfortunately it's not a full blanket over the whole entire track. There are some seams, some places, so some transitions are going to be softer than others. And, as a rider's point of view, that gets really sketchy and gets really unpredictable in some, instances in some rhythm sections. So the track's just going to have that extra technical faction or, and it's going to be interesting to see how this track breaks down with this weather and with this weather throughout the day. And it's going to be interesting to see what riders are going to, excel and which ones are going to be a little bit timid and be cautious. But, we're coming up across the start straight, and then we're going into this Supercross triple right here. And the lap times in 2007 were 49 seconds, and they had perfect weather. And I'm interested to see what the riders can do in 2021. Let's see if do you think they're going to be better, or do you think they're going to be a little bit slower than 2007?
Well, in that first qualifying session, I think the AMA has the luxury of modifying the schedule slightly if they feel like the weather is going to hold out. They do have to make a call when it is time to pull the tarps off. They've got to pull them off. But if they see that there's possible weather break in an hour or something, they might postpone it another hour, which would be very, very wise of them. You mentioned the fact that the tarps, if anybody's ever had a leaky roof in their house or a plumb leak, that water somehow manages to work its way into every little crevice, and it can get past some of these cracks in the tarps where it gets down into those pockets. But I do think that if that's the case, that the riders, they're going to judge the track. You might find that the fastest qualifying lap comes within the first couple of sessions of that very first session. So the wise rider might jump out there, bust as fast as he can the first few laps of his session, and see if it holds up if the weather starts deteriorating the track.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If the weather just keeps on getting worse or the track's muddy, it's, quicker the less amount of people on it, and then there's the more people that get to work it in, the more you mess with the track, the worse it's going to get. Absolutely. And, that's a whole nother factor that these riders have to, conquer, just, on top of riding one of the hardest tracks to ever ride on two wheels. This better than anybody. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm interested to see, Ken Roxy, if he can carry the momentum into Orlando and see how he can finish off the night.
I agree with you 100%. We almost had 2 3-peaters. We almost had Colt Nichols winning all 3 also. So those guys coming into this race hot, haven't run in the hot hand, as they say. And I can tell you that a Colt Nichols want to have a finish off and go into this break with a little nicer lead, and I'm sure he'd want to go with a win. And Ken Roxon right now is on a roll, and if the momentum is your way, you just got to ride that wave. And he's just been fantastic, getting good starts, which is so critical because the parity of that 450 class, my goodness, there's probably 10 riders that could win the main event that are racing that class.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, that's a good, spot to start at is, we're coming across the start straight right now and finishing this virtual track walk. But, the start is going to be the most important thing tonight, I feel like, especially if the track gets really gnarly or if there's rain. You always want to have good, clear vision and in that open, wide track so you can see every line available. So thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week for our first round of West Coast and round 8 of the Monster Energy Supercross track. We're going to be right here back in Orlando, but we're going to have a complete new track and a complete new track to talk about. Hopefully we have a little bit better weather next week. But thank you guys for watching. You guys are watching the virtual track walk presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires. See you guys next week.